The best things that capture your imagination are ones you hadn't thought of before and that aren't talked about in the news all the time. The best things that capture your imagination are ones you hadn't thought of before and that aren't talked about in the news all the time. I wish to God that Apple and Google were partners in the future. I have a calendar life that is complicated, so I use BusyCal and Google Calendar. I keep two different browsers open to avoid some confusion. You know what? Steve Jobs is real nice to me. He lets me be an employee, and that's one of the biggest honors of my life. Every dream I've ever had in life has come true 10 times over. I had a TV set and a typewriter, and that made me think a computer should be laid out like a typewriter with a video screen. My goal wasn't to make a ton of money. It was to build good computers. I only started the company when I realized I could be an engineer forever. My whole life had been designing computers I could never build. It would be nice to design a real briefcase. You open it up and it's your computer, but it also stores your books. Teachers started recognizing me and praising me for being smart in science, and that made me want to be even smarter in science. I think everything I have done in my life, my reasons at the time were right no matter how things worked out. Creative things have to sell to get acknowledged as such. I have always respected education, which is why I actually went back secretly and taught school for 8 years. My first transistor radio was the heart of my gadget love today. It fit in my hand and brought me a world of music 24/7. Hard disks have disappointed me more than most technologies. The first Apple was just a culmination of my whole life. I want the entire smartphone, the entire internet, on my wrist. When I have spare time, I catch up on things I've had to postpone due to lack of time. If you try to make such projects, unseen by others, as perfect as any human could, you'll develop skills that other professionals don't have. In the end, I hope there's a little note somewhere that says I designed a good computer. It's just not right that so many things don't work when they should. I don't think that will change for a long time. After the Apple II was introduced, then came the Commodore and the Tandy TRS-80. Everything we did, we were setting the tone for the world. I read Google News and use NetNewsWire to keep up with general and tech news. Although I receive a small salary from Apple, I do virtually no real work at the company. For some reason I get this key position of being one of 2 people that started the company that started the revolution. In some parts of life, like mathematics and science, yeah, I was a genius. I would top all the top scores you could ever measure it by. I believe you should have a world where you've got to license something at a fair price. I believe you should have a world where you've got to license something at a fair price. I'd learned enough about circuitry in high school electronics to know how to drive a TV and get it to draw shapes of characters and things.